You ready?
I'm ready when you are.
And we're back with another episode of Bright Ideas and Bad Decisions at Thompson's Barber and Beauty Shop. Me, as well as you guys know, my name is Dante Gutierrez. My co-host Anthony Thompson, and we're here with our main man Jack Anderson. He's currently a State Farm agent. Tell us a little about yourself, my guy.
I'll tell you a little bit. 30-year State Farm agent here in Joliet. Little background. I'm born in Indianapolis. Stayed there till I was 6. Moved to Detroit. Stayed there till I was 9, and then spent the rest of my formative years in East Lansing. Um, Man, I'm the oldest of 10 kids by my mom, with my mom and dad.
That's a lot. 10
That's a
kids.
lot.
Yeah.
It'll make you want to do some things.
Yeah.
If you're the older 10 kids, who's wearing the clothes?
Right.
Hey, pass me down. Hand me downs, because 3 girls and the rest were boys.
Right.
So those hand me downs come in pretty handy.
Yeah.
So more background. Moved to California my second semester of high school, sophomore year. Stayed there and ended up back in Indianapolis. Graduated from Chittard High School in Indianapolis. Went on to go to college at Indiana State University. I always tell everybody it's Larry Bird School. Played football there for 3 years before stepping away from the game.
What position in football did you play?
I played boundary corner.
Oh.
In high school, I was a running back and linebacker. When I went to college, I was too small at 5'11 and a half, 190 to be a linebacker weight-wise. So a couple years down the road, due to injuries, I was offered an opportunity to finally play linebacker. And I was excited about doing it, but I was asked to take some substances that I wasn't willing to do.
Yeah.
I said, so I would rather step away from the game. And it had a lot to do with family and background and things that I've taken. So I didn't want to put anything in my body that didn't belong.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jack, one more thing. I remember you were telling me the other day, you were saying something about it was a couple of legends you played with.
Oh, yeah.
On your team.
Yeah.
What was their name?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I played with Vince Glenn. He was a free safety. He got drafted in the second round by the San Diego Chargers. I played with Wayne Davis. He was a field corner. He also got drafted in the second round by the San Diego Chargers. Played with Ed Pancho Martin, defensive end. He got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. Played with Kevin Ramsey. He was a field corner. Got drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. And there's other players who got.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So other players who had gotten drafted and went either to the NFL or the USFL. We had 12 people in a 2-year span off of that 1AA team.
That's crazy.
So
your team was stacked in college.
Oh, yeah. Right now, we're in the Indiana State Hall of Fame. Our whole team.
They got a picture with you.
Yep. As a group, because those have been the best years.
That Indiana State were
before and
hey, Jack, I didn't know Indiana State had a football team.
Yeah.
All I know was Larry Bird, 1979.
Yep, Larry Bird, and then you had the gymnast, the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but a lot of Bruce Baumgartner, a wrestler, came out of there.
Yeah.
A lot of people come out of Indiana State.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
It was a good place. That's where my foundation takes place. After graduating from Indiana State, worked at AT&T Bell Labs in Naperville. Did 7 years. Then I became a State Farm agent March 1st of 1994, and have been one ever since. So a lot of stuff.
That's awesome. So what brought you from Indianapolis to Chicago to being a State Farm agent? How did you make that transition? What happened to cause you to get here?
Okay. Basically, when I graduated from college, my then fiance, we were going to get married. Actually, the wedding was set for a month after we graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were both interviewing. I said, whoever gets a job offer first, trying to be fair, that's where we go.
That's where we go.
And I'd already went on 4 interviews with this one company, so I just knew it was going to happen my way. She went once, and next thing you know, we're here in Chicago. I'd never been to Chicago prior to coming here for my first job. So she graduated, actually worked at Lady Foot Locker as a manager. And I was at Bell Labs, and then she went on to go to State Farm because she had interviewed with State Farm while we were in school, but she didn't get hired right away. So when they came around and they asked, she came here in Joliet as a BI adjuster for State Farm on the auto side, bodily injury claims adjuster.
Exactly. It's like one thing about you working State Farm. I just remember over the 20-year span, because I was State Farm, I was with Patricia Vaughn.
Yes.
And I always look at y'all as legacies, our heroes, our black heroes, because of you and Wright, and of course you. I always look at y'all with our heroes. You know what I'm saying? It was rare to have a State Farm, a black man in our community. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So,
No, State Farm has afforded me and my family a lot of opportunities. Like I said, I have 3 kids, all 3 gone to college. Oldest daughter is a doctor and a professor. She's not a professor. She teaches radiology.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she teaches radiology.
What hospital is she
She's
currently?
University of Madison.
Okay.
The University Hospital, and she teaches their medical students
That's awesome.
radiology. And so then my other daughter, she's an entrepreneur. She has businesses with Amazon and some other things that she works on.
That's awesome.
And then my son's in the military, so I'm really proud of all 3 of them.
Absolutely.
You know and
they're all on their careers and set and moving forward. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not a lot of people, at least in today's generation, everybody's trying to be an influencer or make it the easy way, but they took that time. Like to be a doctor, that's like almost 12 years of schooling that you have to sit through. That's commendable. That's awesome. Congratulations.
I'm proud of her. From the time that she could speak and understood certain stuff, she's always wanted to be a doctor. From the age of 4, every year she dressed up as a physician.
Oh man, that's beautiful, man.
She was dedicated to the cause. She went to Hampton for her undergrad, and then Boston University for her medical school, and then she did her fellowship in Wisconsin, and then they decided that they wanted to have her on staff, so they signed her to a contract, and then in addition to that, she started teaching for them.
That's awesome. So back to you. How was the transition from, because you've never been to Chicago prior to your first job here?
Right.
So how was, as a black man from Indianapolis, coming to Chicago? What was that like? How was that transition?
You know what? It was interesting because Chicago's a big city. I'd never been. Well, like I said, Indianapolis and then Detroit were my reference points, which are both smaller cities than Chicago.
Absolutely.
And then so everything that I'd ever heard about Chicago, the good and the bad, was but there's a lot of successful black people.
Yeah.
And so when you come here, the expectation is you have an opportunity to grow, even if it's not across all lines. If nothing else, you have an opportunity in your own community. But growing up on a college campus like Michigan State's campus, I met people from all over the world. So I had friends whose homes I actually would be at and eat at, and them at mine. So I think it was one of the greatest things that ever happened in my life was being there in East Lansing.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But but Chicago again, like I said, come here, I've had an opportunity to thrive in Chicago. And most of that I've been affiliated with the city of Joliet for 37 years.
You've been in Joliet for 37 years?
37 years.
Wow.
30 as an agent, and then, like I said, when I worked at AT&T, I lived in Joliet.
So Jack, you've been here so many years. What made you stay in this community? Was it the people? Was it the job? Was it the money? Was it the environment?
And how has the community changed itself since you got here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, coming to Joliet, I didn't know anything about Joliet. Actually, when I first came here, lived across the street from JUCO.
Right.
And so we would always go over to the east side and go to the store we call the Mississippi store, so we could get greens and smoked turkey butts and all those things, so we could eat. Right. So and then as time passed, once I became a State Farm agent, becoming more involved in the community, supporting youth football, baseball, basketball, adult soccer teams, and just doing other things like with the Girl Scouts. That was one of my biggest gives back. So my thing is, my mom's my hero.
Right.
Okay, always has been. I would not be where I'm at today without my mom. So taking a page out of her book, making sure that I grew up in what we call a female-dominated household because my mom ran the household.
Right.
And so I wanted to make sure, because a lot of people spent time making me who I am today.
Right.
So be that coaches from the different sports, like everybody else. I played football, basketball, baseball, ran track, participated in Boy Scouts. advanced through the ranks. All I had left to do, because we moved from East Lansing to California at the time when I was working on my service project, I didn't get to finish it. Otherwise, I'd been an Eagle Scout. So I did all the other stuff that was necessary. But then when you look back on it, and you learn from people. I said, I never been around a lot of people that have been from the South.
Right.
So like here in Joliet, y'all have a huge Southern influence, from Mississippi,
right.
People coming from Louisiana and other places, So for me, it's always worked out, meet people like Anthony, meeting at the barbershop. And actually, I didn't meet him at the barbershop. I met him in my office. Because
it was a small little story.
Small little story. Go ahead.
I met Jack. It was a young lady I was dating at the time, and I liked it a lot. And Jack thought I was a little crazy little guy coming over there messing with her.
That's how we really met. As when I was a State Farm agent just starting out.
Yeah, I just love Jack. He just had a great sense of humor. Jack always made me laugh. We always laugh. It's like, you meet somebody, and you bond, the bond was right there.
Absolutely.
It bond was like a brother. Jack was like a brother, man. We bonded so quick.
Yep.
And we still, every time we see each other, we laugh and have a good time, because we just like to have fun. And talk about the things we done in our past, our history, And he talked about his kids and my kids playing sports and stuff.
Yep.
So it was that bond that's hit. Sometimes some people just don't get that type of bond with a person that quick.
Well,
we have that.
I also feel like that bond is created not just because of like your personalities, they mesh well together, but like it's about the quality of conversation that you're having.
Right.
If you can find something to relate with somebody, anybody can click that way.
Oh yeah.
I was on a cruise and I met 6 people that I clicked with like that. Mm-hmm. And I still talk to them every week.
Yeah.
I'm standing up in one of their weddings. Yes. And I only spent 2 weeks with them.
Wow, that's cool.
And they asked me a week after we got off the boat. So it's like, for me, and it wasn't just me that clicked with them. A little brother clicked with them. So it's the quality of conversation that you have with like other people at the same time. It's a respect thing, because a lot of people don't respect that conversation, that quality. Where if you guys didn't have come in with mutual respect, it would have like had a teetering of power in that conversation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't give that respect. A lot of people think they're higher than others when they bleed red too.
Yes.
A lot of people think they're lower than others, where they feel like they need to give the other person more respect. That I feel like that takes a big part in that bond. Is having that mutual respect for each other. Which I'm glad you guys found each other, because I mean, now we have you on our podcast.
Funny because as he moves around, it's like, oh man, there's Anthony. He goes, what you doing? I ain't seen you in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, you know what? I've met some really, really interesting and cool people here in Joliet, because Joliet's my home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And just being accepted. You, Byron, and some of the other people that I've met over the years. And it just is, like I said, I keep everything simple. I'm a simple person. Yeah. I don't like complicated situations that don't have to be complicated. And so, I'll be who I am. What you see is what you get. Mm-hmm. No unnecessary stuff. Because like you said, somebody looking down on folks because, okay, well, I got a business, I got a degree,
I'm making millions.
No, my thing is, I want to reach back and pull as many people forward as I can.
Absolutely.
And really, if we had more people to focus on that, we'd be so much better for it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you put people in a position where they have power or influence, some people can't handle that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And if they can handle it, they handle it incorrectly. They misuse that power.
Yes, abuse.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jack, you hit it on the head right there. It's like people think because you got a good job making money and you made it, and people start hating on you because you all I'm trying to do is survive out here and make it out here, and just trying to pass the torch. And that's one of the things that me and Jack, who we bonded on, trying to pass the torch, to give back, help people on the way. Yep. Because I learned when we leave here, we can't take it with us.
Yeah.
No.
to just pass on to the next person.
That's right.
And that's what we're trying to do. And that's one of the things. I remember a couple months ago, Jack came in here. True story. I was sick.
Yep.
Jack wanted me to cut his hair. True story. I was real sick. I was food poisoned from McDonald's one morning. Right, Jack?
Yep.
And I was over here. I was sweating up the store. I was about to die in here, man. And Jack, out his way, you know, the day he was working, he went out and got me some Pepto-Bismol, some more medicine, and hooked me up.
Yep.
He saved my life, man, because my wife was at work. Nobody could help me. My mom couldn't pick me up.
Yeah.
And that's the things you live for. That's the things you'll never forget that.
Absolutely.
Right. Little things like that to help somebody.
Right.
You know, it's not sometimes ain't all about the haircut. It's all about meeting people and the conversations that go a long way.
And building that friendship, that relationship.
No,
absolutely.
Because but you know what? It's like I said, you know, you see somebody that you genuinely care about. You know, like I said, I care about everybody that I interact with. If I see you more than once, because I'm terrible with names, but once we have a conversation, then I'll remember your name.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, like I said, I saw him there, and I said, "Hey, man, you don't look right." And he said, "I don't feel good." I said, "Okay, well, did you call anybody?" And he says, "Well, I ain't got nobody right now that can come and help me out." I said, "All right, well, stay here. I'll be back." And then, you know, I ran and did what I had to do, but you know, I'm doing that for him. You know what I'm saying? I said, and he said, "Well, let me pay you for this." I said, "No." I said, or he wanted to give me a free cut. I said, "No." I said, "Business is business. We do it." I said, "I just thank you for the opportunity. You know, hey, I want to make sure you're all right. I need you to trim this beard up again later on anyway."
Absolutely.
Because that's that little bald head. Ain't got no. It's like, hey, fix the beard and fix the ears. You know, and so, but no, man, I appreciate the fact that he appreciates it. Because some people you help out and they don't appreciate it. You know, sometimes people take your kindness as a weakness. I said, you know, and I've always, and you know, I laugh when people do that. You know, I'm like, well, you can assume what you want to assume. My thing is, my mantra is, I don't let other people change who I am.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you're doing the right thing, we're doing the right thing. But if you change, you know, you treat me indifferent. It's like, okay, well, that's you. You know, that's who you are. That's what you're about.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't, you know, I don't have to abide by or get upset, allow you to get to me. I tell people all the time, they say, well, you know, you don't look your age. I'm like, I'm 61. I said, looking forward to 62. And I said, that's because I don't worry about things I can't control.
Yeah.
You know, so much we can't control.
That was actually the biggest lesson my cousin had taught me when I was in high school. She was like, there's only so many things you can control.
That's right.
And if you can't control that, let that play out.
That's right.
You can't do anything on that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's why I was telling you, like, I protect my peace now.
Yes.
If I can't control it, that's not on me. I'm gonna let God handle that.
That's right.
And I'm gonna do what I can for myself and for those I love.
That's right.
And for my family. And so that's all anybody can do.
Yes.
And if you try to control what you can't, I feel like that puts you in a position that you're not supposed to be in.
And it really does. It really does. But so I've enjoyed my time with Joey.
That's awesome.
Hey Jack, I heard somebody say, true story. I saw this online. The guy was talking about. I see a lot of people don't have insurance. You know, so I see a lot of people passing away.
Yep.
That don't have money to put them in the grave, to bury them.
Right. And
you see a lot, and then you see them out there trying to put money out there, trying to raise it. Can you raise up $10,000 to bury my cousin on Tuesday? And I'm like, oh my God, people going through that a lot. What do you think? What has changed in the past 40 years in the insurance industry? Was it better back then? Is it better now, or have it gotten worse?
You know, if you go back in time, like with our parents, people understood that you needed something because, you know, my grandparents, they had their plots paid for. My mom and them, they had their plots paid for. So we know this day is going to come. From the moment you're born to whenever it is that you go, this day is going to come. And then understanding and prioritize, because like folks today, I don't want to say, it's like a me generation, me. And then,
it is a pick
and then instant gratification. You know, but what we learn over time is it takes work, and then educating people about the process. Because sometimes people don't even want you to tell them, hey, you know what? No, you know, they have these, what's the word that I'm trying to say? When you have suspicions and things, you're jinxing me and stuff like that. It's like, no, I want to prepare you.
Right.
You know, because like you said, now we got to go do GoFundMe. They get half the money anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, but that wasn't even necessary. You put a small amount away. I mean, you don't have to have a huge policy. Just have something, have a burial policy.
Right.
Because we know eventually it will come around.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, and price, you know, sometimes people get conflicted with the price, and you have so many insurance companies. You know, you got one company tell you, hey, you can get insurance for $9.99 or $10 a month, but what they don't explain to you, or if they don't explain in a way that you fully understand. Okay, I'm a cancer patient. I'm stage 4. I go and I buy this insurance where I don't have to take a physical. Understanding that if you die within a 2-year period of time, you're going to get a graduated benefit, or you're just going to get your money back.
That happened to me.
You know, or you got people who they lie trying to get the policy.
Absolutely.
And the insurance company, if that happens in the first 2 years of contestability period, they can go back and say, okay, well, this person died of lung cancer, or this person died of some other type of disease.
Why wasn't this put in the policy?
Right. Why didn't you let us know when we asked the question?
Absolutely.
So they don't have to pay. You know, they can give you back your premiums. You know what I'm saying? But I think like our kids, we have to get them, and it's on us as adults to, you know, to educate and inform them. Hey, this is a part of that adulting process, preparation. You can't be prepared for everything, but there's certain things you can be prepared for.
Absolutely.
Death is one of them.
And because everybody's you can't have life without death.
That's right.
So in that education process, I do feel like, because I had, when I was with Banker's Life, I looked into it, but I wasn't given all of the information right away. So I had to try to educate myself. Can you explain how to build generational wealth using life insurance?
Well, that's what other people do right
now.
Yeah,
that's what
we in our community don't understand. You can take and get a policy for whether it be 500,000, $1 million, $2 million, and yes, it's going to cost some money, because if you're paying me $500 a month and you have a $2.5 million policy, that's a start that changes the family.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Especially if you lose a dad young or a mom young, or you got a single parent, they're gone, but now you leave that money behind for your kid. Opportunities abound, right? We can do things with that money, then to make money with that money. And there's other communities, man, you'll go in there, they'll have 20 life policies on a family of 4. You know what I'm saying? And when those people go, it's like, hey, I paid this, like my grandmother and them. They had these nickel a week, dime a week, or 25 cent a week policy. They come, it was just like being on paper. I'll give them a little piece of paper and then they go. But when she died, you have 10 of these policies, but they only gave us like $1,000 and $500 policies, where other folks were allowed to have 250, 500,000, $1 million policies. So whenever I have an opportunity to speak to people, again, I go back to this thing with the Girl Scouts. What we did was, me and my office manager, we created a financial awareness workshop that we did for Girl Scouts.
That's awesome.
So we were at Rich Central, we're at West, and we're at Gompers. So we said, we need to try to touch some of the junior high kids too. So we had a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade group. This is all pre-COVID. COVID kind of messed up everything because we did it for 7 years. Going in, talking to them about, what's a checking account, savings account, credit card, what's a stock? Does anybody know what a mutual fund is?
They
don't
teach that in school.
No. What about your credit and the credit score, and how important it is to protect? Because at some point in your life, you're gonna need other people's money. That's where that credit card comes in, or a bank loan. And if you don't protect your credit, you're co-signing for people. I always say, if I'm gonna put my name on a document for you, I'm gonna be the owner in position number 1. That way, when you decide not to do it, if it's a car, I'm gonna come get the car, and we're gonna sell it, and it's out of my name. If it's a house, if you're not doing what you need to do, because I'm not gonna let you affect how I have too many people depending on me to let someone else damage what I've built over the years.
Absolutely.
And so this is what we were teaching to these young ladies.
That's the thing. When me and Jack, sometimes I cut Jack, I cut Jack here, I asked him things about this, like I bought a house for my mom.
Yep.
And he would tell me what I need to do. Remember, Jack?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a true story. A couple years ago, he would tell me what I need to do to get this house. Like, the house was $120,000. Remember they didn't even want to sell the house.
No, they didn't.
Yo, why they didn't want to sell that thing? I told you. It was something about.
I know it was over here by J.D. Brown. One of those
it was over by
condos.
Cousin Francis. Remember by Cousin Francis?
Right. Well, yes.
And they were talking about home association.
The HOA, that's right, because you were going to buy it and your mom was going to live in it.
Yeah, and they told me I couldn't get it because the home association, they want to sell it to me.
Correct.
And because both people on the same page. See, that's the thing we talk about, coming together and learn from each other.
Yep.
Because I learned, believe me, I be asking Jack a lot of questions. I be coming at him.
And we even called your niece.
He actually told me about the Navy, the Federal Bank. I'm a veteran.
Yep.
Went they got a loan, bought me a new car. I never knew. I remember in the past, me and Jack argued about. Remember I asked you about Jack about buying cars?
Yes.
I said I always buy a car. I never want it. I can't afford it.
Right.
They look at your credit.
Yep.
They're like, I always get a car. I didn't want it. I bought a Dodge Ram. It was a gold Dodge Ram. I wanted the black one. I want the one in the window.
Right.
They give me the one I ain't want.
Right.
It's always about. I finally bought a car that I want.
Wow.
So these are questions you got to ask people sometimes because you don't know.
You don't know.
Because like you said, Dante, they ain't teaching in school.
Nope.
That's
They
right.
ain't teaching, especially black people, nothing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like in high school, I didn't learn how to do my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn.
We talk about that too.
Yeah, I didn't learn how to like budget my money or how to build a business or how to be financially literate. So like when I walk into a bank, I don't sound stupid.
Right.
Like I don't sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Because that's a big thing. Because if you go and get a loan from a bank, there's a bunch of little notes that they don't tell you that if you don't read or you don't understand, can mess you up in the end and cause your interest rates to go up. I didn't learn about interest rates in high school.
Well, that's why we were just having this conversation about taking classes at the college level.
Yeah.
And trying to understand, because everybody wants to be an athlete, right? So we got people who become stars in football, stars in basketball, stars in hockey, stars in music and show business. But if you don't learn how to protect yourself and your money, your investment of your time, because it's a lot goes into these people that are real successful.
Yeah.
But if you don't go to understand the stuff, you can get it taken advantage of real easy.
Yeah.
And it happens. When people know that they can get you, they got you.
They get you. Yeah.
And that's
they take advantage of that.
Oh, big time.
I was talking to my daughter about that. Even though she played basketball, but she get NIL money. All her girlfriends, all the girls in the team. I said, well, what's wrong with y'all just go out there and buy y'all 8 unit? You're still in college because they're doing it.
Yes.
Some of these, the black women out there, they done bought some land. I heard a girl from LSU bought some land. I just heard about her. Kelly Clark, she think about buying the WNBA team now.
Yeah.
See, and it's like the NIL money right here. I said, well, why don't y'all just put your money together and go buy a 4 unit, 8 unit, and you can stay off campus. But you can stay on there or rent it out.
But you got to have somebody to educate you on that
Right,
process.
that's what I'm saying. A financial advisor or somebody.
Right, because these people that are coming into their lives that are supposed to be representing them so that they can get their NIL money. Let's sit down and have a class.
Class.
Talk to you about stuff. It's like Deion Sanders will tell you about his boys. He said, you don't see them tied down with no girls. He says, because we built this.
Yeah.
Now, later on, when you decide it is something that you want to do, you want a person to love you for you, not for what you have or what your parents have.
Exactly.
Yeah. And did you see what he did before the bowl game? He signed a insurance on all his players.
Yes.
Just in case they get hurt.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because this is big, man.
Absolutely.
It's like
I can give you an example of
doing that. Huh?
Yeah, I can give you an example of injury. I had a teammate. He's our middle linebacker, starting middle linebacker. He's out of Louisiana. He was definitely going to be a second or third round draft pick. 6'2", 2.5, 245 pounds. The dude, a Kodak All-American. He was all everything. We were in the playoffs, and end of the game, we underestimated our competition. We were playing Middle Tennessee State and lost. So they score. Kickoff comes to our team, and the lineman, one of their linemen that was on the front line, just rolled up on his leg, his knee. The surgery today is so much different than it is then. Here's a guy that had the potential to play in the NFL, if not in the NFL, definitely in the Canadian League. Right. And then ended up having to. He started off with a career with Sony, because of a business major or whatever. But just how it can go like
Yeah.
that. And that's why they make the money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for kids today with NIL. I remember, man, I saw black so many times, or the injuries, the shoulders, the knees, the feet. And if they had paid kids back then, I mean, because it was just a money grab,
It was.
But now you feel happy for these kids. You work the best deal that you can work.
Yeah,
and I just hope that you have someone who can educate you on that process, because people are gonna flock to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna flock to you.
Yeah.
I said, do good, always do good, always give back to the community. But at the same time, understand what it is you're doing. And like you said, these people, they create foundations and stuff like that. Okay, create and give through your foundation. I said, but understand, people are going to want you to invest in their businesses.
Yeah.
Make sure that business is viable. Because like I said, most businesses fell in the first 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
So it's more than a notion.
Hey, Jay, I got an idea. I need to start doing, maybe every client I cut, tell them about the life insurance, had the stuff right there.
Look,
absolutely.
And it's funny.
And while you talking to you,
right?
Bring them on and get in here. Don't get in here. Come in. Come down there.
Hey, we can do that.
Absolutely, that's a good marketing tool.
Like it's just like you're doing with stuff that you're doing, like with the restaurant up at the top of the hill, and then the liquor stores. Giving them that presence, that internet presence, so that when people type in Google liquor stores near me, or restaurants near me, or the best restaurants that provide this type of food, So, because I actually hired a guy, I was listening to you when you're talking. It's going to come in and work for us starting in April to work on our internet presence. Mm-hmm. So he's a student at St. Francis.
Okay.
And majoring in marketing. And so I said, all right, so we interviewed about maybe 10 kids. Again, trying to give kids an opportunity to enhance their skill set too.
Absolutely.
And then also giving them some real life situations, just
and
understanding business in general.
I would have applied. I would have done that.
And that's what I do. I try to find ways
to
help people and inspire people, because I tell everybody, a college degree never hurt anyone. It can only help you. But I understand that college isn't for everyone, but understand you're going to have to get some form of education. And whatever you do, even if it's OJT, you're going to get some form of education. So, do those things that allow you to utilize your strengths or your interests.
I know that State Farm probably taught you the financial education, but who would you say was your mentor, or who brought you to be able to learn that financial education and become financially literate? Like
It's funny that you say that, and I like the question. That's a great question. I had an opportunity when I was in college. I had some friends, and one of my friends came up to me. This is after I was done playing football, so I went and got some jobs so I could stay in school. And he goes, "I need you to give me $7 a week." He says, "Because we're going to buy Microsoft stock." I'm like, "What's the stock?" And better yet, what's Microsoft?
Right.
Then
that was before they blew up.
So at that time, it was Microsoft, and then he says, "There's a company named Apple." So I'm like, "Man, I don't have $14 to give to you to do stuff," because I didn't understand. I didn't understand the process. I didn't understand anything about finance. Fast forward, I get my job at AT&T, and for the first 6 months, at that time, you had no benefits. Mm-hmm. So then once you became eligible to participate in the 401k.
What year was that?
That was in 1987.
Thank you very much. Another year. 80s had a lot going on.
Yeah, that was 1987. And, you get in, you don't have any benefits for the first 6 months. And then after that, when you become eligible for the 401k plan, you put your money in 401k. Well, in my job, I worked in what we called, it was lab support. So software developers, they need the hardware to do their work, to do their testing and all this stuff. So my job was to sit in meetings, see what equipment was needed, make sure that we designed a lab to meet those standards, whatever they needed, and then we supported it. So we provided the actual support. So when stuff didn't work, we fixed it, or we had somebody come fix it, or we replaced stuff.
Yeah.
So I was working on a project, small project, and the supervisor, a guy that went to Iowa State, but he was from Wisconsin. His name was Tony. I remember him to this day because he was a real crazy guy. And he goes, "Hey man, how's your 401k doing?" I said, 401k? I said, "They talked to me about that when I first started." I said, "I don't know." He goes, "Well, you signed up, right?" I said, "No." He goes, "Then you don't have a 401k." I just thought it was something
I
that
heard
people,
that before.
right. So he goes, well, you need to sign up. I said, okay. I said, I'll get it done. Couple months went past, and he runs past me again. He's a technical manager, okay? He goes, so Jack, he says, so how much are you putting away in the 401k? I said, oh, I never got a chance to fill out the necessary forms. He goes, follow me to my office. Go to his office, sits down at his desk. He says, pull up a seat. He logs into his computer, and he goes, okay, first name, middle name. He filled out everything for me. He goes, now, what do you want to put away? I said, well, I don't know. He goes, all right, we're going to do 10%. He said, the company matches 6%, and I'm like, matches? What, not understanding.
Right,
so
right.
Then I decided to go back to school because I wanted to be on the management side of things. But since I came from a school with a technology degree, I had to go back and get another technical degree. So it took me a couple of years to decide what it was I wanted to do. I decided to do management information systems. So it's a combination of MBA and computer science.
Oh, okay.
So in doing that, that's where I started to learn really about financial accounting and other stuff like that. In addition to coding, it's like, man. So this is what these guys do all the time, But took that. And then you go to State Farm and, you learn a lot about insurance. You learn a lot about protecting people's futures or help them build their future from a financial standpoint, because we did auto loans. We came back, we had the bank. Bank was very successful for a very long time. So, and then we got into mutual funds. So, explaining again how you can save up, minimize the risk and things versus buying a single stock. You buy into a fund where there might be 500 companies, 900 companies, So if any one company does bad, it doesn't necessarily affect you in a negative way across the board. So that's the little bit of knowledge that I have. Went and got my license, 36 and 63 to sell the stuff as part of, what the company was wanting to do. But now, and that's what I try to present to the kids, or even like we'll sit here and we'll talk and or if we're just with some friends somewhere, and a conversation may just spring up, and we're talking about investing, talking about where do you want to be, what do you want to do. I was looking at a thing the other day. A guy listed seven financial things that you should have. So talk about a high yield savings account, talked about cryptocurrency, talked about having your own home per se. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of good stuff in there. Again, having a mutual fund with the land, having a mutual fund, just different things that we don't talk about. Right. Talked about credit cards, talking about line of credit, as far as if you need it, having that home equity line of credit. So if you need it, you use it. And if you don't, you're not getting charged any interest on it. So
and that's money.
Yes.
That's just sitting there.
So there's a lot. I love what I do. I do what I love, and I have to thank the people of Joliet because it's been 30 years that have stuck with me, sent their friends and family members to me. And one time when I first started out, I drove all the way up to Waukegan to get a renter's policy. I was probably going to make maybe $5 off the policy, but the thing is, you want to build your book. Assuming that, hey, if we met and that was you, maybe you send a friend to me that might be closer, or they might be in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Drive to Chicago.
And that policy could be a $10 policy, but now you get two more people out of that one person that you naturally built your book.
Yes.
Your book of business. And that I'll give you 100% credit for it, and I utmost respect, because nowadays, you could do that on the internet.
Yes. 3
times faster than you could just making calls.
True. Right. Or working your network. Because, I always say word of mouth is a tool that can't be suppressed. Even when you online, Absolutely. If Anthony says, hey, Dante, go talk to Jack, that's more meaningful than you looking up and say, oh, let me see who are the black agents or who are the agents here in town. It means so much more. And my customers will tell you, I'm sincere in what I do. I'm going to do what I can for you within the rules and guidelines of the company.
I want to ask you one more question. Okay, insurance right now, what's the average age of people getting insurance right now?
Getting insurance?
Like, people get insurance in their 20s right now, or their 30s? Because it's a different era right now. A lot of people just spread all over the place right now.
So are you speaking of home, life, auto, health?
It could be home, auto insurance,
I would say
life insurance. I'm talking about,
30s,
is people getting their life insurance in their 20s right now? No.
Some, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Because I'm young.
Percentage, like 5%, 10%.
I don't even think
have
you can,
those numbers.
Yeah, I
don't
think you can.
Because there's so many different.
They really need it.
Yeah,
it's
they
crazy.
do.
They do. Absolutely.
20s and 30s, so much going on.
Right.
They just want to need more than people in the 50s years old right now.
But they're not educated on that either.
Correct.
They don't know.
They don't know that.
That's the process. It's all about. It's like you talking to your kids. Make sure you get some life insurance. I remember my wife's grandmother said, when you guys get married, you need to get life insurance. So I got married at 24. Mm-hmm. I had a life insurance policy at the time I got married because she spoke it into existence. Mm-hmm. She says, let me show you. I have policies. And she did. She said, you're going to need this. And you're going to need more than just a burial policy. Mm-hmm. And so I've always carried a lot of insurance, and then it helped more becoming a State Farm agent, actually understanding. Because it's hard to fight. They give insurance agents to the insurance industry a bad rep. In some cases, it's earned, right? Mm-hmm. But in most cases, these people are sincere and they want to help people. So, a lot of, like I tell people, I'm not a hard sell. I said, I'm going to talk to you about your needs. And, once it's on the table, it's up to you.
Right.
And when I see you, I'm going to ask you until you tell me, okay, stop asking me that. Every time I see you, ask me about life insurance. Well, that's my job.
Yeah, that's what you're trained to do.
I had that situation with my father. He died of cancer. Mm-hmm. And I talked to a lady for life insurance. I'm the insurance on him.
Yes.
And like you said, the 2-year policy.
Yes.
It clicked in on me because I sat down. My father had cancer. He was stage 2, and he talked to all of us. He's like, I need to put some insurance on me. I don't know how long I'm living. And at the time, I talked to this lady 2 years before that happened. Put the life insurance on my mom,
but not your dad.
Not my dad.
Yeah. And
if I did, I got $20,000. My father was warning me. Mm-hmm. He was telling me, you take this money and do something with it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, if I would have did it, he had a condo. We lost the condo in the family. Mm-hmm. I could have kept it in the family.
Yep. Absolutely.
I was like, I could hit myself in the head because he was trying to keep us with something in the family. We lost it through foreclosure.
Yeah.
And the warnings be right there. And another warning was here's when I know I had to get some insurance for my mom. I'm at the funeral home. My great grandmother, Mom Lucille, she was 90 years old, and they were like, "Do we cremate her? Do we give her a casket?" Mm-hmm. You thinking everybody gonna up $200 in the family? Mm-hmm. We needed 20 people up $200, maybe $250, and nobody had $250. I'm like, we really broke. and that's what I was saying. I'm like,
and a lot of times in our community, that's by design.
Absolutely.
Because the thing about it is, it's just like when you go take the SAT. I remember taking it the first time, like, man, I don't ever recall using any of these words. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make me a dumb person because I never used that word. That and where I grew up, it was different. Going from the Indianapolis school system to the Detroit school system to the East Lansing school system. The East Lansing school system was an exceptional school system. Because when my mom decided that we were going to leave East Lansing on our way to California, but she had to convince her son that wasn't going to help her drive, we'll go to Indianapolis in order to get me out of East Lansing. Enrolled in an Indianapolis public school. I've always been in honors classes for math and science, but then English and social studies, I'm like, hey, I do what I'm supposed to do to get the grades, but there's no real fire in that for me. And so I go to Indianapolis. I'm in the AP science and math. That's cool. Then they did the same thing with English and social studies. And I was like, no, I don't want to be up in this. I like the regular ones, because you already know you advanced and can do the stuff anyway. But the problem was I was 5 chapters ahead in those English and social studies classes, and I was just in a regular class at East Lansing High School. Now I'm in an AP class, and I'm 5 chapters ahead of that from coming there. And then I was also ahead in the math and science for doing different things because I wanted to be a research scientist. Really growing up, I actually wanted to be a research scientist. I wanted to be either a geneticist or a neurologist. I said I always envisioned myself in the white coat in the lab, tweaking with stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Anderson, da da da. I did get a Dr. Anderson out of it, but she ain't a research scientist. You know what I'm saying? But I always wanted to do that. I always had a love for whatever the science was. you know, whatever the math is, and you just go, and those things feed you. You know what I'm saying? But no, we got a lot of work to do, and then because like I said, we'll go buy a new vehicle, knowing that the mortgage is due. You know, it's like, so how you gonna pay for both if because somebody just lost a job in a house?
Absolutely.
So priorities, you know, and again, I'm not immune to that. I've made mistakes. It's about growth, right? So as long as we learn from our mistakes and we grow, and again,
and continue to move forward,
man, and
you can grow and stay stagnant.
Yes,
and I think that hurts more than
exactly
not moving at all.
So I'm talking about white and black because like I learned that they said most white people, they put life insurance on their family, and they take the money and carry over to the family, and that's how they got more power in the industry in us than the black people doing.
Right. Well, it's just like
it's not really our fault. But like you said, it's not our fault.
No, it was like housing back in the day with redlining. You know what I'm saying? You could only be in certain. Yeah. Same thing with the bank. Same thing with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
You know, the better insurance companies weren't right in our neighborhoods. You could have been that one. Everybody knows there was several houses in their block, in their neighborhood. The yards were pristine. The families were upright. You know, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go to the Johnson's house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Mr. Johnson's cool. Mrs. Johnson is cool. They invested time in the kids, not just their kids, but the neighborhood kids.
Absolutely.
And because of that respect and the relationship that they had, nobody ever messed with them in a negative way. If somebody showed up to do something to them, they had to deal with everybody on the block.
Yep.
What are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying?
Like, leave Mr. Johnson alone.
That's right. Don't mess with his kids. Don't mess with him, because this is some. They bring you in. They feed you. Hey, we're gonna be cooking on Saturday. Make sure you're down here. If you ain't here by 2, you ain't getting in. You know what I'm saying? Or they had the pool, or they had the basketball court, whatever it was we were into at that time. Or that dad or that mom said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna bring all of y'all together. We're gonna play some games. You know, and they organized the different teams and all that stuff. You had those. We had a state trooper in my grandmother's neighborhood. My cousin and I always looked up to. We always called him the lieutenant, even though he was just a trooper. And he had this German Shepherd, because he was one of the canine units, and his German Shepherd's name was Jaws. And we know who Jaws is back when we were growing up. That was a shark.
Right.
And this dog literally, they had like a 5-foot fence. He worked that fence when you walking down the alley to go to the store. And it's like, he goes, y'all do know he could clear that fence, right? Because, you know, the kids start picking with him. Yeah. He says, don't pick with the dog. Don't pick with the dog.
The dog named Jaws. Beware.
Right. And he was a beautiful German Shepherd, healthy looking. Hey, one day he's like, and next thing you know, he was over the fence. He goes, I told y'all, he cleared the fence. And then he did something else. He came back the other way.
Oh my God.
Just doing that. And that's like the kids in our neighborhood. You know, we grew up like being the oldest kid. So I ain't got nobody to protect me per se. When I say protect me, when we're playing basketball against the older kids, football against the older kids, you at the pool and y'all doing the little fighting somebody on your shoulders.
Right.
You know, you learn a lot. You know, baseball. I love baseball growing up. I pitched until I got hit in the throat once with a line drive.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'll be on the mound no more.
Hey, Jay, I remember back in the 70s, it was always an assurance man to come to house to house.
Yes.
He had a suitcase, a little suitcase, and we laughing at him like, I ain't dying. I come to my house.
No, but he's hustling.
He knocking on the door.
That's how
he knocking on the door. Nobody answering the door.
Yep.
Because they knew what he was about. They was about some life insurance.
Yep.
And being black, we was kind of like, it's like, when you see a life insurance, man, you look like a funeral home, man.
Right. No, but that's the problem today.
But I didn't know no better.
Right, but that's still the problem today.
I didn't know.
Because within the community, I mean, I once went to a church here in Joliet, and the pastor was talking to everybody about getting life insurance and preparing for the future. And you know, a lot of people there, but not much came out of it. You know what I'm saying? We hear you, but we
ain't really hearing you.
Right.
I think when situations like that happens, I think they're not. It's due to the situation, you know, because they're at church for God. True. They're not at church to learn about life insurance. Because I did the same when I was in life insurance. I went to Good Shepherd right next to my house, the church down the street from there. And I talked to a bunch of people, and most of them were elderly that needed it, and I didn't get a single person. And it's like I watched the words I say go in one ear, out the other.
Right.
I watch them completely zone out. But the moment the pastor gets back, they're like, "Oh, hallelujah, let's go back." Right? And it's like the switch flips because it's not what they're there for.
Right, but sometimes you can break up that situation. And so if you the minister standing up at the pulpit, this is, I've invited these people here today for a reason. Everybody in here that knows somebody that's died in the last 15 years, raise your hand.
Absolutely.
What does that tell you? Eventually, we all gonna go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, of the 15 people that died, how many people had life insurance?
How many people could
or raise your hand if you had to contribute towards somebody else's life insurance for the funeral.
Yeah.
You know, says, okay, why are we in this cycle? It's perpetual, over and over and over. So it's about the delivery.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the message. You know, when you really trying to get a point across, you know, you gotta, if they're not receptive to what you're saying, you gotta bring other people in. Like you said, you do a podcast because you're trying to get a message out there.
Absolutely.
You know? And he said sometimes you do stuff that's not popular in the podcast, so you can hold the interest of everyone. You know, but again, you're trying to get a message out there. You're trying to make people aware, like we were just talking.
Exactly. That's what me and Dante were talking about a couple years ago when I cut his hair. I said, the conversation we having, we need to put this out.
Right.
Yeah, I was the one that came to you.
This is so deep.
I was the one that came to you. I was like, you know, we should start a podcast because I feel like a lot of podcasts today, Shannon Sharpe included,
they all got money, rich.
Yeah, it's everybody who's already made it. And 90% of the time, I mean, they say the same thing. Hard work, dedication, and sometimes sacrifice. And yes, absolutely, that's what it takes to be successful, to get where you want to be. Yeah. I consciously understand that. But what are the steps you took
to get there?
To get there. They don't tell you the process. They tell you what they went through the process.
Right.
And that's the thing.
I told them about that. I said, how about, you know, all the people going to draft? What are the ones who don't make it?
Yeah.
Who get cut? Or we're there.
Well, that's why I told you I was happy for the NIL stuff, because a lot of like basketball players, they can go overseas
absolutely.
and play in these other countries. But if you're a football player, wasn't nowhere else to go if you didn't make it in Canada. Because no NFL, no Canadian. No. Yeah, okay.
Football's different in the UK.
Man, you meet all these people talking about, oh, I'm a semi-pro. I'm playing semi-pro. I'm like, so does that mean you're paying to play or you're getting paid to play? You know what I'm saying? But again, in life, because we all know that you can't do that forever, we get older. You know, there was a time when I probably could have lifted that chair by myself. Wouldn't have needed your help. You know, whereas now it's like it's a struggle, right? So again, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And so when you look at it again, knowledge is power. So you sometimes just being in earshot of what people say, it's like, man, I've heard people talk. I done ran home. Let me see how this, like you said, you educated yourself on things, and this is where you are today, trying to figure out what your path is. You know, it's not all direct.
And like, even just with this podcast alone, I've had to educate myself. One, in communication. Two, in videography. I edit these videos myself. I didn't know how to do that before I started this. So I had to learn that, and that's a lot.
Right.
Like, I didn't realize how much editing went into videos that just to make it look pristine and sound nice and flow.
It doesn't, Jack. I think I told Dante in the past. I told Jack, but I had a speech problem. Growing up, I couldn't talk at all. People laughing at me. He's like, you stutter and laughing. I mean, they used to put me in front of people in speech class in high school. You just pouring with sweat.
Really?
Girl in there like this stun of a storm and losing, but my confidence was gone.
Right.
Because I like people like, why you stutter? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm handicapped. Something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And for me to have a podcast, a person that couldn't talk when I was a kid,
right?
That's big.
It's big for
me.
That's
big
but that's progress and change. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then understanding you. There's nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? It's just how you present yourself. You know, yes, there's people that have a stutter. There's people that have a limp. I'm pigeon-toed. Like I said, when I was born, I was bow-legged, and whatever was the deal with my feet. So they broke both of my legs. Or a cast with a thing between them. I had leg braces.
They did the same.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, does that make, because I walk with a bounce, you know, does that mean there's something really wrong? No human is perfect, right? There is no such thing as a perfect human.
Absolutely.
And it's just like when you out there working and doing the things you do, when you work in groups, Part of the group is going to put in a major amount of the time. Some of the groups are going to just be floating a part of it, and then you got those in the center that that's a combination. So again,
right.
We're a mixture of a lot of things, right? We're all mutts because according to them, it was two people to start, right? If you're Christian,
yeah,
okay. So and then that's another thing that I have about religion. Because God isn't wrong, right? So if we have all of these different religions and how they worship, who they believe God is,
right?
How can you say that's wrong?
exactly.
And then you look at Christianity. Okay, you got so many sects within the Christian religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, does that mean that they're who's more right? No, there's no who's more right.
Right.
That's what I come to understand
as I got older. It's like with the whole religion and Christianity thing, like the Bible was written by man. It wasn't written by God. And there's so many stories that were supposed to be in the Bible that were burned and thrown away in creating the Bible. Right. So how do we know that the Bible is right?
Right.
And
well, I got those look at Florida.
It becomes
burning history.
Yeah.
Slavery didn't exist. Slavery was good. Tell me what slave getting beat with a bullwhip.
I saw this. Exactly. I saw something online. They said the last slave ship, the name of the ship was Jesus.
Yeah, because they use that. They use that to hang people, keep you, to some.
I said, they need this boat, Jesus. Oh my God! Can you imagine what they was going through?
No, it's and so we all have differences. Once you accept people's differences, like I said, music crosses everything, right? Mm-hmm. You'll see people that don't like you for how you look, but they love your music. They love your style. They love everything about you except for you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Which is amazing, right?
Right.
They even get tans that look like you.
Hey, Jan, I have an idea and tell somebody take my idea, run with it.
Right.
They do that a lot. And so sometimes you just keep paying for yourself, man.
True, but my thing, like I've always said, because you'll get new people that'll come in the agency or other jobs. Like every job I've ever had, if somebody came to me that was new, I'm doing a core dump. You know what I'm saying? And even as an agent, if you're new and you work in the area, the market, those people that you got, they're yours. I didn't get them. I can't be mad at you because I shared some information. You went out and you used it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
It's like being in the barber business. I see all the barbers do their haircuts online. I praise them. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. But so someone won't praise you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, why do it have to be a competition?
Right.
And there's a million people out here to cut.
That's right.
That's what you can't cut everybody hair.
Nope. And not everybody's going to want to come to your shop.
Exactly.
And it's about convenience. If I come to your shop and the atmosphere is great, I'm coming. I went to Williams Barbershop for years.
Yeah.
Then went to Byron's Barbershop, wherever he moved it to. Exactly. I'm at your barbershop, Mm-hmm. I was at LaToya's Barbershop, so, it's all about the camaraderie, the respect, like you said when we first started talking, respect that we have for each other's people.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And that's just how I carry myself.
So I carry myself.
I don't want to. I'm glad if you're making it. I'm glad if you're doing great things. You're not my competition. Whether you're another State Farm agent or something else, I'm doing me.
And I feel like there should be some level of competition, but it should be friendly competition. It shouldn't be like.
When I say competition,
I'm
not trying to be better than you.
Right. When I'm out here building my book of business, I'm not worried about you building yours.
Right.
We all out here in the field doing what we got to do.
Exactly.
We all trying to hustle.
Right.
Exactly.
And I might even call you up and be like, hey, can you give me some tips? Because, you like doubled my production last month or last year even. What did you do differently? Who did you hire? If it wasn't just you.
Absolutely.
So there's things to be learned, but it's like, no, I never said I'm going to be the best person at this, number one. It's like, okay, well, I can be the best that I can be. I can't be the best at everybody because the circumstances are different. Just like I told you, as a young agent, when I showed up at these homes and people would open the door and see me, and then all of a sudden, close the door. It's like, all right, well, hey, that's cool. Yeah. You should be with somebody that makes you feel better.
It was always that. If you can get 1 out of 20, you did good.
That's right.
If you get 2 out of 20, you did good. You did. See, it's always it's a number game.
Yep.
And Jack know that. It's always a number game. I'm just doing it. If I get 5 out of 10 out of 100, I'm good.
Absolutely.
Right. It's always a number game. There's so many people out here in this. Like I try to, like you said, I like show everybody love what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. And like on the way, I call them sometimes. How you do that?
That's right.
How you split your hair like that?
Mhm.
And where you get your clippers from?
Mhm.
When you do that? I want to know. You know what I'm saying?
And you
So I
wanna
can
learn.
so I can do it for my
So-
customers.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So I can help myself,
Right.
improve myself.
That's right.
And I
You know
think,
what I'm saying?
I think that's another thing that causes people to get like comfortable is once they like feel like once they get that 10, right, out of 100, they're like, okay,
But everybody
I'm
like
good
that.
with this 10.
Everybody like that.
Right,
Mhm.
right. But I'm saying like once they get that 10, they'll be like, okay, I'm cool. I can be comfortable now, rather than continuing to push, continuing to learn.
Mhm.
You know, and I think that's a big
That's
thing.
major, Don.
Is that
Continue learning. Jack
just
learn every day.
continuing to learn.
Every
Hey,
day.
when you stop learning, you die.
You done.
Absolutely.
You know,
You
so
learn
we
every day.
always got to learn. We're gonna always learn something. I mean, again, learn about other people.
Yeah.
You know, why are our cultures they're different? So how can I assimilate you into mine and me into yours?
Absolutely.
You know, so that we have some common ground. You know, because like they say, we're more alike than we are different, right? So, and those are the things that we have to deal with. You know, I look at my agency. I cater to those people that come to my office. 85% of my business is Hispanic. You know, so my staff represents the folks that come through the door.
Absolutely.
I've had everybody work on, you know, for me, whether they be black, white,
Can you
Hispanic.
say that again? You said 85% of your business is Hispanic.
Yes, it is.
So you saying blacks and white ain't many. So,
No.
So we got
You
a
know
long
what?
ways to go. We got a long
yeah.
ways to go.
And you know what's funny is when I first started, I think the book was about 40 between black and white. And then, you know, because I had a small book of business that was with 2 other agents. And then you build out from there, you know, because a lot of people, like when you make that referral, you know, the community, they come. Like I said, I love the people that are my customers. You know what I'm saying? So the black people are my customers. They've been with me since the beginning. The ones who've been with, and then their kids now, or friends, or other family members.
Right.
You know, and they respect the people that work for me. And then, you know, same thing whether people are white or they're Hispanic. Again, all we want to do is provide you with the service, and a product and a service that one, you know, like I said, is going to protect what it protects for you as far as your family goes. But then when the experience that you have when you come to the office, you know, the people there genuinely care. We're going to go out of our way to do the right thing. Because, you know, some businesses you go into, or like the post office or a doctor's office, and the people are just, it's just a blah, blah, you know, it's like, man, I'm the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I feel bad about coming here to get the service from the physician, but yet the people that represent him up front or her up front are not friendly at all. The professionalism makes you feel kind of bad. It's like, you know, I'm going to switch, you know, because I've done that before in other businesses. Walk in, it's like, you know what, hey, appreciate you, doc, but
your front desk isn't working for me,
or other things, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, life is full of challenges, ups and downs. You know,
it's a feeling process.
It's a process. It is a process, just like you said. Because I was always say, it's a process.
It's a process.
You cannot go from A to Z. You have to go A, B. Me and my son were just having this conversation. I want to be like you. Okay, well, be the best you can be. Like I used to always say, I want to be a better man than my dad. But I didn't live through my dad's circumstances. So I don't even know how my dad got to where he was, because I wasn't around at that particular moment of time.
Absolutely.
You know,
exactly like you were saying. If you look back at your life in high school, did you think you'd be working for State Farm 40 years from now?
No, like I said.
No. I didn't know I was going to be a barber 40 years from now.
That's right.
I never cut hair in high school.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So God put you in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know where you're going to be. He put us here for a reason. He put you here for a reason.
Absolutely.
He put me here for a reason to interview Jack and Dante, knowing you.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why we're here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But, you know, fate, you know, I always say karma. I believe in karma. You know, what you put out into the world, you get back.
Absolutely.
And, you know, my thing is, when I leave this place, it'll be said that, hey, it brought joy.
Absolutely.
You know,
and look back like
knowledge.
Jack. I feel the same way, Jack. If I leave this place, at least everybody ain't gonna love me, but I know somebody gonna love me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If I can help one person, I always say, if I can help one person, they like. I didn't help people as being a barber too.
Right.
And like you said, I have family members coming here, two single moms coming all the time, and the bad kids, have me go talk to the kids, because they look at me like a role model.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Because I'm on the front.
That's right.
Like I said, in the front lines.
Being a business owner is more than a notion. It's hard work.
Absolutely.
Regardless as to what the business is, it's hard work. You know what I'm saying? And so when you can make time to make a difference in somebody, because like I said, my scoutmasters, my coaches, teachers, all the professors, all those people who instilled something in me. I was in the Civil Air Patrol. I don't know if y'all know what Civil Air Patrol is. That's also wanted to be in the Air Force. So I'm gonna be a research scientist. I'm gonna be doing that too. So I joined the Civil Air Patrol when I was in high school. Expecting to go on and do other things. So again, learn how to shoot at the armory. Before all the NRA was all, I understood it was all political and all that. But shot for sport. Competed. Awesome. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? So, and just my best friend, he was an only child. So, I would go to the ski lodge with him. I sit in the clubhouse, in the lodge,
right.
out on
and
the slopes.
He's skiing.
Right. I said, now, if you cross country ski, I'm good. But when you're going downhill, I said, I'll be here when you get back. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of fun things, fishing, hiking, camping. A lot of us don't get to experience that in our communities unless you're in an organization like the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or the Explorers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, having that, but being in the position that you're in and having the opportunity just to speak to people, make a difference. Like I loved coaching. And I always said, all these kids out here getting caught up in whatever. It's the only place I can go to and yell at somebody's child and they not get mad at me. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's Absolutely. Like, hey, because you want to teach that resilience. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything in your life is not going to be right.
Right.
So on that down movement, what do? Are you going to lay down and stay down? Or are you going to get up and say, hey, man, let's do this? All right, I learned something from that last knockout.
Right. Now you can get back up.
Oh,
and
man.
Keep moving forward.
It's like I hurt myself so many times trying to hurt other people playing football. It's like, I'm going to make the big hit. And then it's like, just like in the cartoons.
And Jack always saying that he used to clobber people back in the day.
Hey, look.
He was like Mike Singletary back in the day, going side to side, knocking people out.
It was funny because I told him, I said, hey, man, I said, use that dude. You thought you were going to run away from me that way. It was on. Or you go that way, it's on. And I love being in a small Catholic school in my last couple of years of high school. And we played the large city schools, and they'd be clapping, it's our night. No, because in Indianapolis, it was just
Indianapolis,
schools,
okay.
So like in East Lansing, they had, in Michigan, they had different divisions. But in Indianapolis, every school in the city, including the Catholic schools, we were all in the same league instead of having a separate league.
It's the same way in Chicago.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
All the Catholic schools play each
Catholic
other.
League,
yep.
and then
y'all
may pay the city school for the city championship. Yeah, but there they didn't do that. After I left that school, the next year they won the state championship 5 years in a row.
Wow.
Our team was good, but we had to play, we got 800 kids.
Yeah.
I was the only black senior on my team. We had a black junior. That was two of them. And then that was it on the varsity.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had to go to the JV or the freshmen to see more. So, no, man, that was a place where you could let out your frustrations. It's like, hey, Aunt, I'm sorry, man.
Absolutely.
We either on the same team, because like my buddies, we lived together, but they went to different high schools. We lived in the same neighborhood, right? And then so on Sundays and Saturdays, we playing football together after church, or on Saturdays all day, you go into a different neighborhood, either play them in football, basketball, whatever. And then when you got to high school, you see them on Friday night. Man, we're going to tear y'all up on Friday. So,
you be knowing
I see you. Right. It's like, what's wrong with you, man? You trying to kill people?
Calling each other names.
Right. Look,
I'm going to get you, Mark.
Right. It's like, hey, man, we ain't on the same team today. It's different. So you love it. But I've been blessed in so many ways. Like I said, I've only had 2 jobs or 2 career opportunities since leaving college. And that was with AT&T and State Farm. So
that's awesome.
Made a big
I got one more question for you, Jack, before we head out of here. Do you think this is a bright idea or a bad decision?
Oh, man, you know what? I think it's a great idea. What you guys are trying to do and are doing in the process of doing, it makes a difference. And then like you said, touching those things that are like the third rail, because if we never address issues, they're going to always remain the same. I said, people need to know people. It's just like if you take black people from the South and black people from the North that have never been South, you know what I'm saying?
They're two different. That's two different.
It's different, or East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. We're all different, and we have different values and different ways we go about doing things. But I love Southern cooking. You know what I'm saying? The soul food is in my soul.
Delicious.
I said, hey, and but I also love trying other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not opposed to eating stuff that's from different areas, like, you know, Mediterranean food, Italian food, you know, Greek food, you know, different Asian food, you know, Indian food.
And we should treat people the same.
There you go. That's all I'm saying. It's a one big melting pot.
Absolutely. We're on the same earth. That's the crazy part.
We all bleed red.
We all bleed red. We're on the same
interchange
earth,
our parts. If you don't make it, it's like, hey, we got a kidney from you. Where'd it come from? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But I congratulate you guys on what you're doing. I think it's excellent work.
Thank you.
And then, because like when he said it to me, like podcast, I'm like, come on, man. But because I said I've never been a part of one, I said, all right. I said, yeah, you can interview me. I have no problem with that. I said, be glad to help out where I can.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming out.
It was funny. I was talking the other day about it, about the podcast. I said, I got to get somebody. And you came in and said, Jack. Oh, yes. Love it.
See, God works in mysterious ways, right? It's like, hey, it's on my mind. Here he is, right here.
Yeah, man.
But keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
And then having a young guy, like I said, Dante, look, you go in there, you will find your way. You know what I'm saying? And you're on your way. And it's just like with my kids, my son was more of a challenge than my girls. And when I tell you my girls are driven, they're driven. They're really driven. And, they're strong women, smart women. And my son, excellent mind. But, with the maturity, they say, women mature a lot faster than men do. He's still finding himself. Even though he's in the military, he's still finding himself, what he wants to do. But it's like I said, you don't know unless you try.
Absolutely. And it's that first step. Right, that first step is the scariest.
Just keep knocking on the door. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually the right one is going to open. Because in this life that we're in, it's about opportunity. And I'll say one last thing. Just like you guys are doing the podcast thing, as it catches on, it snowballs and it grows, it's the opportunity that makes the difference. My friends that went to the NFL when I was playing in college, they said, these guys are no better than us. He says, it's about the opportunity. It's to speak, to talk. How for years the SEC, oh, it's the greatest conference in America. But yet you got kids coming from Division II schools making it in the pros. Well, they don't make it a lot, because they're not given the same opportunities. Right. We didn't have 5-star, 4-star ratings, and people all over the place when I was coming up. And it's like, so again, opportunity is the key and the secret. So the more you dip into that sauce, the more it's gonna come up.
The more it's gonna come up, yeah.
It's almost like one more thing. It's like I'm on when I saw my kid saying Juju Walker is the best player in the country.
Mm-hmm. And
I saw myself. I say, I did that.
That's right.
And my daughter is guarding her.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what you dream for.
Yeah.
True.
And that's great.
You know, it lost by 40 points, but hey,
she got the opportunity. On national TV,
was there.
On national TV, playing against one of the best players in the league, right. and it's like so
beautiful, man.
Yep, it is, and you just got to keep pouring into it, and then understand with them, give back. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I have a sister that's a math teacher. Her thing was she taught at the college level. She taught at the high school level. She said, but her mission in life is to get girls interested in STEM, and she has to catch them as early as possible. So now she teaches junior high, because she says, and that's her love and her passion.
And that's when they start being interested in other things.
Yep.
And so that's amazing for her.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully we can get you. We might have you back on in a year, see how things change.
Like Cat Williams, we'll see you next year. Come back with the more scoop we need to find out.
Exactly.
Hey, we'll be
hit them hard.
Be glad to
because this podcast is going to blow up.
It is.
I sure hope so. We're going to do our best. Absolutely.
I like the setup.
Well, thank you guys for being with us for another episode of Bright Ideas and Bad Decisions. We hope you guys have a great week. Stay warm, stay safe. Have a good one.
Take care.